For ACUsports.com, I'm Grant Boone. We talk a little Wildcat men's hoops here as the season is nigh upon us. The Wildcats will open the 2014-15 season next week at home against Hillsdale Free Will Baptist. We've got junior sharpshooter Austin Cooke and the head coach Joe Golding. Austin, let's start with you. Your first year last year at ACU. Tell us about the transition now that you've had a little bit of time to look back on it from that junior college system to playing on the D1 level.
Well, the D1 level is obviously more of a night-in, night-out grind, and I think junior college prepared me well. But last year I definitely got my eyes opened up a little bit. So,
how about the Southland Conference? A lot of ACU fans didn't really know what to expect. It's a heck of a league, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Southland Conference, I mean, you've got SFA, Sam Houston, Northwestern State always at the top of the league. Then, every team top to bottom is they got players. So we just got to bring it every night.
This pre-conference, non-conference schedule for this season, a little bit different than last year when you opened up on the road and you're going up against some of the great powerhouses in college basketball. But you also have really a roster that doesn't look a whole lot like last year. You got 5 or 6 guys back, but 5 or 6 new guys. Give me a sense of how the team has come together over these last several weeks.
Well, we had summer workouts, which helped us build camaraderie and just come together as a team, learn the system. It helped our JUCO transfers and freshmen come in and, like I said, learn the system. So we'll be more prepared for our non-conference schedule.
Well, I was just kind of wondering just about maybe your role on the team even. Last year you were a new guy coming in. Now you're a guy that knows the system, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think last year I came in not really knowing what to expect and didn't want to step on any feet. And I think this year coming in I've tried to become a better leader and still working on that and trying to do my best with that. So
hard not to step on feet when you got big giant size 16s down there. All right, let's talk to your head coach here, Joe Golding. Hey, not every team in America in Division I and certainly at the level in the Southland Conference has 6-7 guys who can step out and shoot it at 40% from beyond the arc. This guy brought a lot to your team last year, didn't he?
Yeah, it's definitely a weapon that we're all in search of for in college basketball when you can have a 4-man that can step out and shoot it. And a lot of college basketball has gone to the ball screens, which we'll use ball screens with Cook because he can shoot it and it makes it a tough guard. When a guy can't pick and pop and shoot, then you can guard the ball screen a little differently. When the guy can shoot, it makes it really difficult to guard. But I'll tell you on that thought too, Grant, Austin's worked really hard in the spring, this summer, and including in this fall, and you see it through 23 practices. He's more than just a shooter. Now. Last year when he wasn't making shots or people would just switch our ball screens, he would sometimes disappear in the game. And he's really worked hard on his ball handling. He's worked hard on his low post game. And I think that you'll see that this year. He's more of a complete player.
When you lost some guys to injuries and attrition, you had to ask a lot of guys like Parker Wentz and Austin Cooke. What did you learn about that nucleus that you brought back this year from those trials they had to endure shorthanded?
Well, we learned a lot about adversity, and we learned a lot about tough life lessons, and that life isn't fair, and sometimes you get the short stick, but that's not an excuse. You got to go out every night, and you got to compete, and you got to play your best and give it all you got, and see what the result is, and then go back and continue to try to get better. I think that both those guys, along with the other guys that we brought back, were very consistent in that approach and that attitude. Those guys are winners. They've won. Austin Cooke won over 30 games in junior college and got beaten the Elite 8 or Final Four. Parker Wentz didn't lose very many in high school. Riley Payne played in state championship games. Those guys are winners, and that's tough for them to go through what they went through last year. And they didn't like that at all. And some of it, like we said, was some adversity, and we had the short stick on some things with roster size and depth, but they never used it as an excuse. And because of that, I think we'll be better this year, and we'll see the results of that.
I heard you a second ago number your practices. You've got these things you memorize. You've got it down to those numbers. How sick are these guys of playing each other at this point?
I'm sure they're very sick of each other, and I'm sick of seeing them play against each other, So
you want to see another uniform, don't you?
Absolutely. We're ready to get out and compete and see. I like this group. Obviously, we've had a summer with everybody here but one. These guys have worked hard in the spring. These guys don't like the result that last year. They don't like where we finished, and they want to get that taste out of their mouth. And obviously, we're ready to go compete and ready to go see where we're at. It's easy in practice to get after it. I have a better feeling about where we're at. I think we are better. There's no question of that. But how much? Let's get out and compete and let's see where we're at, and then let's take it from there.
We mentioned earlier you don't have that rigorous schedule to start out with, but you do go to Tulsa, talented team, and then you bring Duquesne in. A lot of us around here have been trying to think of the best team to ever come to Moody Coliseum to play. There was a big game against Pepperdine 30 years ago, but I don't know that you get many bigger than a team from the Atlantic 10 and Duquesne. So while night in, night out, that first month isn't going to be as rigorous, a couple of really tough early tests, huh?
Oh, there's no question. Duquesne's going to come in here. They got returned 4 out of 5 starters. They beat St. Louis last year when St. Louis was in the top 10 in the country. They're very, very talented, exciting team. They play up and down, play really fast, great athletes. Coach Ferry does a tremendous job building that program. I think he's in year 2 or 3 of building that thing. But the history, the basketball tradition, not only that conference but of Duquesne, is something that we've never seen in Moody. So we're excited. And I told our guys last week I like our schedule this year. Last year's schedule was not fair to those guys, and that's on us as a coaching staff, and that ultimately was my decision, and it wasn't fair to those guys. And this year it is fair. We're going to play some home games. We got 5 games at home first semester. We're only going to miss class on 2 days. We only got 2 road trips, out to California, to Riverside, and I think Tulsa. We're leaving at 10 in the morning. So we're going to be here a lot more. And but on the flip side of that, I told them, don't get confused. The schedule's tougher this year. Last year we played 10 non-Division I games, and we only got 3 of those this year. The rest of our schedule is filled with Division I opponents, plus we have 18 Southland Conference games. So we're going to be better, Grant. I mean, I keep telling you that, and I know we're better through practices, but I'm anxious to get out there and compete. I don't know on the wins and losses where we'll end up at the end of the day, because our schedule's tougher in the sense we're playing more Division I opponents. So I'm just excited to get out there and compete against those guys.
A lot of new weapons, a lot of new names for us to announce and introduce you to as this new men's basketball season begins, and a lot of good players coming back like Austin Cooke. The season begins next Friday night, November 14th, at home, Moody Coliseum, 7 p.m. against Hillsdale Baptist. For Coach Joe Golding and for Junior Austin Cooke, I'm Grant Boone for ACUSports.com.